Let's do a CD update. Ahoy, hoy everybody, and welcome to another CD update. Not a huge pile this time, but plenty to go through. So this is basically what I've bought and listened to since the last CD update that I did. In no particular order. So first up we have the new album by the Proclaimers, Dentures Out. This is a copy signed by Craig and Charlie. Bought from their official store. That's what I was trying to think of then. Yes, bought from their official store. It's a decent album. It's not one of their best, but it's perfectly enjoyable. I did find it's 13 tracks and it's only about half an hour long. So most of the tracks are only between 2 and 3 minutes. And there was quite a few of them that I felt deserved to be a bit longer. It all felt a bit rushed. But yeah, still enjoyable, very enjoyable even. But could have been better. It's a new album by Lightning Seeds, See You in the Stars, which actually came out this week as I record this. I'm recording this on Sunday the 16th. Not sure when it's going up yet. This is a signed copy, signed by Ian Brody, bought through Amazon. A few Lightning Seeds albums, not all of them, but I do enjoy them. And this is a perfectly good Lightning Seeds album. 10 tracks, just over half an hour. So 10 perfectly good poppy, indie pop songs. Sort of what you would expect from Lightning Seeds. Nothing unusual for them, but perfectly good examples of what they do. This is the second of the Blue Tones box set. So last year they brought out Superior Quality Recordings 1995 to 2002, or whatever the dates were on it. Actually, it's here. 1994 to 2002, which covered the first 3 albums. And then this covers the next 3, to date the last 3. Also reissued on vinyl, which I have shown. That's the sticker that was on the shrink. So this contains... So these are all albums I already owned. There's a couple of, I think, previously unreleased tracks on here, but I needed it for completeness sake anyway. Yeah, 2 previously unreleased tracks. Can't remember if I showed both sides of that, but just in case I didn't. So, nice booklet. With sort of the credits for each album, and then a little article about each album by Adam, isn't it? Yeah, by Adam, just explaining, you know, the circumstances around their recording, where they were recorded, what the ideas were behind them, etc. So there's interesting reads. Then we get Luxembourg, the self-titled album, the Serenity Now EP, and then A New Athens. And it also came with a little signed print of the Blue Tones album sleeve. That's a nice little set. Oh, I forgot the booklet. Okay, next we have, so a few months back I received, I think it was the first bundle of the year for my Reckless Yes Records subscription. So if you don't know, I subscribe to the record label Reckless Yes, and for, I think it's about 70 quid a year, I basically get everything they release during that year. If it's on vinyl, I get the vinyl, and if there's multiple vinyl editions, I get the most limited version of the vinyl. If not, I get the CDs, and I also have access to everything digitally if I so wish. There's one vinyl album which I have shown, and the rest was all CDs in this bundle. Mixture of albums and EPs. So this is an EP by Grawlix. It's called Spring, and I made little notes that I put inside each one to remind me what they were like. So it's decent floaty indie pop, but nothing spectacular. That was. This is Piney Gear, Alchemy Hand, another EP. So I've had a previous Piney Gear release in last year. Strong female singer-songwriter, nice songs, well performed, nice production. Yeah, I liked Piney Gear. Junk Whale, Caught in the Act of Looking Weird. 6-track mini album EP. Not quite sure what they classified it as. I think it was still classified as an EP. Average indie music, well played, but songs lacked anything memorable. And Breakup Haircut with Punk Dancing for Self-Defense. This is a full 15-track album. Proper sleeve. Punky indie, 3 females with a male drummer. 15 tracks, but only 39 minutes. So, you know, not long songs. Fun, enjoyable, with good lyrics. Yeah, I think there's a couple of tracks that, you know, were quite political, and there were some funny tracks as well, I seem to recall. But yeah, I enjoyed that one. I think that was all from there. Yes, it was. So next we have, this is Alicia Keys' Keys album, her album that came out last year. This is called Keys 2. So this is a reissue with some extra tracks, basically. It's sort of doesn't add that much to the album. It's an album that I really enjoyed. So it's, if you haven't heard about this from me on previous videos, it's 2 discs. Disc 1 is called The Originals. Disc 2 is Unlocked. So disc 1 is basic versions of the tracks. A lot of them just Alicia and a piano and maybe drums or something like that. But sort of stripped down versions of the songs. And then the Unlocked side, or disc, is remixes of those tracks. Raps added to some of them. You know, beats added, played around with. I much prefer the original side, although I do like the Unlocked side a lot. But the original side is sort of what I wanted from an Alicia album for a few years now. This adds tracks to both versions. As I say, it's nothing essential. It also adds on each disc at the end a remix of In Common, which was from the previous album, he says hesitantly. I think it was on Alicia. I don't think it goes as far back as here, but seems a strange addition to this album. But yeah, glad to have picked up the extended version. I mean, as a collector anyway, but doesn't detract from the albums, doesn't add much to the album. This is Robbie Williams' 25, or XXV. So this is a twist on a Greatest Hits album, celebrating his 25 years as a solo artist. These are re-recordings with an orchestra of some of his big hits. This is the deluxe version, which is on 2 CDs. So CD 1 is the main album. And then CD2, it's got some extra tracks and some new tracks as well. There's one new track on CD1, which is Lost, which is the single, which I mentioned when I showed the vinyl. Not much of a fan of. His first single that's really let me down. It just sounds like the sort of track that normally would just be a filler album track from him. And it sort of doesn't deserve to be a single. But CD2, it's got, yeah, some good reworkings, plus also some new, as I say, some new tracks, all of which are better than Lost, in my opinion. Most of the tracks, sort of, you know, the orchestra adds, and there's a lot of brass being added to tracks as well. And, you know, complement and enhance the tracks. There's a couple where it's not really noticeable and therefore not necessarily necessary, really. You know, they probably should have picked some other tracks to redo, but enjoyed it a lot. So I bought this from the official web store in a bundle with the signed vinyl, and to get the signed vinyl you actually had to buy, they released the album with different covers on CD. So I actually received the standard CD as well with this, with, let me check I've got this right. The only sort of difference is the angle he's looking at. So I got the standard CD with that pose, which Mum's actually taken. And then those two, well, he's looking slightly, that's sort of the more notable one, but he's looking at a slightly different angle on that one as well. But these are just for normal standard CDs. I haven't bothered listening to those. There's no real reason. I've only got them because that was a way to get the signed vinyl, which I have already shown. Suede's new album, Autofiction. Again, this was a bundle, signed vinyl plus CD. I say signed vinyl, it was a signed print with the vinyl. Strong album, enjoyed it a fair bit. It's sort of a throwback more to their earlier sound. They sort of recorded it sort of punk style, I think they referred to it as, where they just went in and recorded without huge overdubs and stuff like that. And it works really well. Yeah, enjoyed that a lot. This I didn't. This is Altered Image's new album, Mascara Streaks, signed by Clare Grogan. For a start, it's not really Altered Images, it's Clare Grogan plus Stephen Laroni. From Altered Images, you know, from traditional Altered Images. I mean, I'd say I don't enjoy it. It's a good pop album. It's sort of sounds like a Kylie album without being quite as good as a Kylie album. But the problem is that's not what Altered Images should sound like. Altered Images are an indie pop band. They're not a dancey, disco-y type band. So I found it disappointing as an Altered Images album. If it was a Clare Grogan solo album, then fine. But if you're going to brand it as Altered Images, it should sound like Altered Images. Finally, the reissue of Supergrass's self-titled album, third album, aka X-Ray, for obvious reasons. It's weird because, you know, I've got the Strange Ones box set that came out 3 years ago now, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. And that was full of outtakes and, you know, previously unreleased stuff. And yet they're still finding more stuff. So the first 3 albums have now been reissued in this sort of format. And they all contain extra previously unreleased stuff that as a fan and collector I need to buy. I've not been buying the vinyl reissues because although they're picture discs in the box set, they're perfectly good picture discs. So if I want to listen to them on vinyl, I've got those. But yeah, I've been picking up these releases. So it's got a new remaster of the album on disc 1. And then disc 2 is B-sides, remixes, demos, live versions. And then there's a nice booklet with sleeve notes by Charles Shaar Murray. And that's pictures of all the releases from that era. And just excellent stuff, basically. Okay, that's it. Not too long. My CD update. Hope you found that interesting. Thank you for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. And I'll see you in another video. Thanks. Bye.